After Rebirth, I finally decided to let Iris go. She wants to devote herself to research. So I retreated to the mountains to teach. She is close to her assistant. So I just called off the engagement. In my previous life, I let her get bogged down in family and responsibility. She was Leo's mistress all her life. Never had a legal relationship. But when I fell sick and died, I realized I had lost my whole life too. Chapter 1. After Rebirth, I finally decided to let Iris go. She wants to devote herself to scientific research. So I'm going to teach in the mountains. She relies a lot on her assistant. So I called off the engagement. In my previous life, I let her get bogged down in family and responsibility. She and Leo spent their lives together as a bastard. But until I fell ill and passed away, I realized I had lost my whole life too. After Rebirth, the first thing I did, enroll in a teaching program in the mountains. When I saw the transfer notice, I feel like I'm in another world. A leader who has been advising me, he said with a satisfied smile, "All new teachers, you are the one I hope for most. Before, you said your fiancé, working in Beijing, didn't want to leave. But now you have finally made up your mind." Speaking of Iris, she is the proud daughter of heaven. She not only came from a good family, but her career is also bright. She is a key talent cultivated by the Institute. Her career is on the rise. For me, I have a stable job, but nothing special in other aspects. If it weren't for our childhood engagement, there is no way she and I could have been together. I looked at him firmly and said, "I want to try to do something meaningful." He patted my shoulder and said, "The place you're going to teach is tough. You need to be mentally prepared. No matter how difficult it is, it won't be worse than the last life." In my previous life, I failed to make up my mind in time. I never went to teach in the mountains. That became my lifelong regret. The Chin family urged us to get married. Less than a month after the wedding, Iris was pregnant. She doesn't want to have this baby. She said her research project is at a critical stage. Having a baby will affect her progress. But I really want to have a complete family. I took care of all the housework. Since then, I'm stuck in the chores of family life. Iris takes it for granted. Rarely goes home. She is busy with experiments and publishing papers. As her project progressed, her achievements are even more remarkable, etc. She is collecting data across the country. But wherever she goes, Leo has always been by her side as an assistant. He takes care of her work and personal life. Meanwhile, I was trapped in Chen's house. Child rearing and elder care. I raised our son alone. I always thought he respected me like he respected his father, until I saw that he was engaged to Leo's niece. In a private room, he shouted to Leo with a big smile on his face, without hesitation, "Dad, would you like some tea?" Until the wedding is approaching, he told me. I questioned him, but he replied contemptuously, "Dad, my mother and Mr. Ren's work mean a lot. You don't pursue any progress yourself, so stop dragging them down." He also said, "You can't be too greedy. They gave you the title of father, but you want my mom's heart too. And your education, do you have anything in common with her?" He believes only Iris is trapped by her family, and I, in his eyes, an unfortunate victim of married life. But why is this happening? When we were young, I asked her what she wanted. She agreed to the marriage arranged by our elders. Because of that, I gave up the career I really wanted to pursue. Her research task is arduous, but I also worked tirelessly to take care of my family. When she was on a business trip, I took care of the diet and needs of everyone in the family. In the most difficult moments, I traveled between home and school. 24 hours a day, I'm responsible for arranging doctor visits, buying medicine, and paying the bill. When she reached retirement age, she had been promoted and become a leader in research. At the same time, I was trapped in a small plot of land at school, seeing less and less. At this point, everyone says I'm not good enough for her. Everyone told me to leave gracefully. Even the son I raised alone thought Leo should stand by her side, not me. But I refused. After our last fight, he dropped me off at a nursing home and walked away. At the end of my life, no one was by my bedside. I deeply regret. If I were reborn, I absolutely will never give up my life again. Chapter 2. Back to the apartment. I gently put away the admission letter. A piece of honey cake gradually takes shape under my hands. This is the Chun family's house. It's convenient for me to work. Iris and I lived here together. Big red circle on the living room calendar, boldly announcing, I can leave here in 2 weeks. Finally, I'm living the life I've always wanted. Just when I finished drawing the red circle, Iris is back with Leo and his niece. When they saw me open the door, Leo gave a seemingly happy smile and said, "Dominic, Iris invited me to visit. I'm causing you trouble again." Little girl, familiar with the house, smelled the sweet aroma, then rushed into the kitchen to get dessert. From the baking sheet, she divided the food into 3 portions, one for each person. They were happy to share, but forgot mine. When I walked out of the kitchen, the 3 of them huddled together, chatting and laughing. The moment the cake enters their mouths, the 3 of them vomited immediately. "Uncle, it's too hard." I stood still, no movement. Iris ran around handing out tissues and tea. Finally, Leo left home with a forced smile. This time he didn't see the usual dimples, but he still spoke in an overly tolerant tone. "Iris, Dominic's skills still have room for improvement. Don't argue about this, you two." Iris said nothing and walked him out the door. When she comes back, I quietly placed another plate of cake in front of me and began to enjoy quietly. Iris seemed to want to say something, but then she hesitated. Finally, she explained that Bella was my sister's orphan. Before she died, she always asked me to take care of Leo. "I let the child taste your dessert because you're good at making them." I still didn't speak. She sighed and whispered, "If you mind so much, I won't bring them here again." The next day, I got up early and packed my luggage. I am going to a nearby city in a few days, because I have decided to break off the engagement. Better to make things clear as soon as possible rather than later. It's out of respect, in order to avoid further entanglement. When I was packing my luggage, I stumbled upon a small clay doll. This is a gift Iris gave us when we were little. She was very determined at the time. Her chubby hands were covered in mud, as she said, "Dominic, my mom said you'll be my husband when you grow up. So I give this to you." The doll ended up in my suitcase. I don't want this doll anymore. I don't want her either. I stood up, drew a big X on the living room calendar. I'll be out of here in 14 days. Chapter 3. Iris came back very late that night. She glanced at the food on the table and said casually, "I went out to eat." Woman stealing food. Don't even bother to wipe the corners of your mouth. After what happened last time, she knew to bring Leo home. It just makes me angry. So she just ate out. At least I didn't make her any food. After dinner, I went back to my room and started organizing the materials. Make final preparations before school starts. Iris quietly appeared behind me. I closed my laptop and asked what was wrong. She was silent for a while before she spoke. "The hotel's wedding planner contacted me. Can we set a date in September?" She sure knows how to choose a date. Perfect timing. When I was about to start school, 3 seconds later, I looked up at Iris. She avoided my gaze silently. In my previous life, she managed our relationship. The way she handles work problems, love, marriage, children, family care. For outsiders, she seems to do everything perfectly. But I am the only one who can feel her alienation and indifference. Until I was dying, I finally realized I was unhappy with this marriage from the beginning. But in the end, I'm the only one in this marriage who's failing. So I asked her, "Iris, have you thought it through?" She was stunned. Obviously, I didn't expect to ask such a question. Then I heard the exact same answer I had received. She said, "Dominic, you're the only man I consider a husband." I didn't hesitate this time. I said, "Marriage is a big deal. We should discuss this with our parents. The date can wait. Let's give it more time." She seemed relieved and quickly changed the subject with a smile. "It's so late and you're still preparing lesson plans. Don't make yourself too tired. These lesson plans are for kids in the mountain village. This life, I'm going to choose a path I haven't chosen before. I want to see how exciting it is. Dominic can survive without Iris." The next morning, Iris woke up early. When I got up, a bowl of crab roe wontons from Nanxing filled the table. This is my favorite. She is rarely so considerate. I waited silently for her to take action. As expected, Iris hesitated before speaking. "Dominic, I can't go to your parents' house with you this time. Bella is sick and Leo can't handle it alone. This is the excuse I need. Stop her from following me back. This is good for us all." When she saw me nodding my head in agreement, Iris rushed out the door. I looked at the calendar on the wall. 13 days left. I'm going home today to break off my engagement. The Chin family has always been very good to me, but ending an engagement isn't hard. I just need to tell them. Iris's future looks bright. She's about to fly to greater heights. As for me and her, we are no longer a couple. The Chun family's living room was silent, and the atmosphere was heavy. I sat quietly by the side, slowly turning the teacup. Mrs. Jiang tried to speak several times, but every time she would swallow her words back. She had heard a lot about Leo over the years. After a long silence, she finally said, "Even though she has feelings for Leo, you two are still engaged. If she dares to regret it, I will deal with it." Mr. Jiang said decisively, "Since you choose to break up the engagement, we respect your decision. But Dominic, our relationship will not change. We will always regard you as one of our closest juniors." Iris is now everyone's favorite. Even her parents couldn't understand why am I so determined to break off the engagement. But I understand this marriage. They may have some hidden hopes and expectations. Now I'm ending it. I am expressing my awareness of the situation. This is a good thing. From now on, I won't be tangled with Iris anymore. Or Chen's. Eventually, they became a real family. Chapter 4. The engagement was cancelled. To prevent any complications, I lied to them, said Iris was too busy. She let me come back alone. After hearing the news, Mrs. Jiang looked a little guilty. She advised me to stay at their house for a while. I don't mind. I don't want to go back to that little apartment and facing the Iris day to day. I stayed at John's for 10 days. In these 10 days, Iris only called once. I heard I lost. She didn't call again. She is still the same as before. When it comes to our relationship, she always maintains a pragmatic attitude. She doesn't show she cares. She won't let her guard down. When I come back, I immediately marked 10 big red crosses on the calendar. Only 4 days left. Only 4 days left. I picked up my luggage and went home. But I heard the door open. Iris stood outside. Following closely behind are Leo and Bella. When Iris saw me, she seemed a little surprised and asked, "You're back?" Leo and Bella, the two of them, turned around and walked into my room casually. I frowned and watched him close my door. Without hesitation, the living room is in chaos. After careful inspection, all my stuff is scattered everywhere. I looked at the iris tree. A trace of embarrassment flashed across her face as she explained, "Leo's house is leaking after the heavy rain a few days ago. So they live here temporarily. A few days, I noticed you're not here. Because there isn't much, I let him stay in your room temporarily." I haven't even told her about the breakup yet. But she and Leo still took action without hesitation. When Iris met my cold, distant gaze, "You can move into my room and sleep in my bed now." Iris said this as he opened the bedroom door. "By the way," she asked, "where's your book? There's almost nothing left in your room." Of course, I moved them out. But I calmly explained that I sold them. After getting married, I plan to focus more on my family. Many things are not necessary. Iris frowned. Even if you are married, some of these things may still be useful. Self-improvement is important at any stage. But it doesn't matter. If you want to sell them, then sell them. She always knows everything, but she doesn't care. She watched me get devoured by that family. Beneficiary Iris looks very relieved. She shouldn't enjoy my sacrifice while infatuated with Leo. This is not right. I pursed my lips and said nothing. Seeing my silence, she finally spoke again. "By the way, what do your parents say?" Iris took the bag from me. I paused before answering. "I had someone check the date, and it was wrong. We can talk about this later. For more days. I'll use this excuse to buy some time. Once I leave, I'll explain everything to her." Iris breathed a sigh of relief, then put on a forced smile to hide his emotions. She looked at the calendar in the living room and said, "Looks like we have to pick a new good day." Then she went to the kitchen to cook. She didn't even notice what I drew on the calendar. I looked at the household registration book on the table. By the window. It's an iris tree. Just as I was about to stand up to help, I heard 3 people chatting faintly. The man's voice outside was very low. "Women are very sweet. Children are very cute." I sat down quietly. At this point, even though I broke off my engagement with her, it's inappropriate to live under the same roof with her. Not to mention sharing a room. But there are only 4 days left. I can't find a suitable place to rent. After thinking, I think I will eat, then sleep on the living room floor before going to bed. Chapter 5. The next morning, I wasn't fully awake yet. Bella is already making noise in the living room. Leo ignored her, kept making noise in the kitchen. On the other hand, Iris just sat on the sofa. She smiled at the two of them. Maybe this is her image of a perfect family. I used the excuse that I needed to buy groceries, then hurried out. As soon as I got out, I took a deep breath. My neighbor Sarah saw me and came over to ask, "Dominic, you're back. I thought you were visiting your parents-in-law." There was a hint of joking in her words. I replied that they were not my in-laws. Neighbor Sarah was stunned for a moment, then laughed. I thought I was just being considerate of Iris's reputation. She continued to the right. Not your father-in-law or mother-in-law yet. You have to wait until you are actually married. Change the way you treat them. Notice the change in my expression. Sister Sarah stopped talking, obviously hesitant. But she couldn't help it. She scolded me quietly. When you're not at home these days, little Iris takes the man home. I asked her. She said you agreed. Batman looks like trouble. How can you agree? You're not married yet. Come on, Dominic, open your eyes. Iris has it all. If it weren't for your engagement, I would consider introducing her to my nephew. Who wouldn't be attracted to her? She was chased by one man after another. You better be careful. Even though she has so many men around her, Iris only really stands by Leo. Leo, no need to worry. Iris will give him all the confidence he needs. To my surprise, Iris told others, this is my decision. It seems like she wants to avoid any blame falling on Leo. She really thought it through. But there are some things I can't say yet. Seeing me silent, Sarah noticed my gentle nature, snapped his tongue, and gave me one last piece of advice. Be careful while staying at home. When I came back, the living room was empty. However, there was a rustling sound in the basement. After a while, Bella held a torn piece. I looked carefully at the old paper. This is the portrait I drew of Iris. Last New Year's Eve. The woman in the painting still has a cold expression, but a faint gentle smile appeared on the corner of her mouth. The room looks warm like spring. The fireworks outside are brilliant. At that moment, Iris's eyes were only on me. At that time, I believed our married life will be filled with such simple, a happy moment repeated over the years. I never thought this would be her only time look at me sincerely. The paper Bella was holding was already tattered. It's covered in sticky sugar stains. Leo appeared behind her. He quickly said, she's just a child, Dominic. You won't blame her, will you? Although his tone was gentle, the pride and disdain in his eyes were obvious. I replied coldly, if you know she's behaving inappropriately, teach her a lesson. Leo seemed surprised by my answer. Children are best at reading the atmosphere. Bella rushed over to me immediately. She slapped my shirt with her dirty little hands, leaving dark handprints on the fabric. She yelled, don't bully my uncle. Her voice was shrill and harsh. Iris rushed in from outside and immediately pulled Bella into his arms. I didn't look at her. My eyes fell on the fallen paper. The iris tree followed my line of sight and was stunned. Understood something clearly. She opened her mouth to say something, but she swallowed it anyway. Leo is clearly happy with the status quo. With a false, innocent expression, he quickly added, Iris, I'm sorry. It's all my fault because I didn't pay close attention to Bella. I suddenly laughed. All three of them turned and looked at me. I picked up the torn painting and held it up to the light. I said, I didn't draw well. The lights in the room aren't that bright. Then I threw the painting into the trash. She followed me into the kitchen expressionlessly. The iris tree suddenly raised its head, staring at my receding back. Chapter 6. I don't care that Bella is still crying and losing her temper. Iris followed me into the kitchen. She hesitated for a long time and finally spoke awkwardly. I have been looking for a new place to live these days. Leo and Bella will move out in a few days. I know you don't like him, but can you bear with it a little longer? I nodded without hesitation. There are only 3 days left before I leave. This was originally Chen's house. How do they lock themselves up? Living here afterwards has nothing to do with me. I agreed too quickly. Iris seemed to be choked by her words. Her complexion became unhealthy, pale and blue. Doesn't look very happy. She probably thought I was angry about what just happened. She sighed and pulled me back. Bella is just a kid. I've told you this many times. I just take care of them because I promised my sister. Leo is not doing well either. Can you please stop thinking so badly of him? I sneered. So you brought him back and said it was my decision? Iris took a breath and opened his mouth to say something, but couldn't speak. I laughed. No matter how noble her words sounded, her inner chaos and ugly thoughts couldn't deceive myself. Out of respect for parents, I don't want to ruin her career. But this is all I can do for now. The next morning, I woke up early. Yesterday's Bella scene reminded me of something. There are some of my things in the basement. Before they wake up, I went downstairs to pack my things. I have lived in this house for several years. Even though I started packing my bags more than 10 days in advance, there are still many things left. I pack for the rest of my life. I don't want any more contact with Iris. Because I decided to leave, I want to totally do this. After collecting everything, I had 3 large bags full. When I opened the door, I saw Iris had already prepared breakfast. When she saw what I was holding, she was stunned. She asked, "Where are you taking these things?" I replied calmly, "Throwing them out. There are too many useless things." Iris took a quick look and turned away. Then she turned, knocked on the door of the next room. Leo stood up and took Bella. "Breakfast is ready on the table." Bella saw me. She snorted in displeasure, moved breakfast to herself and Leo. Iris, she came out with the fried egg and smiled when she saw me. "You're up, hurry up." I made an omelet. When she turned around, saw what was in front of Bella and Leo. She smiled awkwardly and said, "Good girl. Bella, can you share some with Uncle Dominic?" I ignored them and walked out of the house. Only a few days left before the school year begins. The necessary paperwork has been completed. I plan to buy more books and stationery. Donate to children in mountain areas. I need to buy some things. After everything was done, I booked a room at the hotel. Even though there are only 2 days left, living under the same roof with Iris, we often bump into each other. It's simply unbearable. Because she thinks I'm jealous of Leo. Let her think so. This is a perfect excuse for me to move out. Everything is ready, I'm home. But I was surprised. I saw Bella playing with my lesson plan. My mind went blank and I shouted, "What are you doing?" I got my passport back and Bella was shocked, falling off the table. She screamed and cried. Immediately ran over from the other room with Leo. He yelled, "What are you doing? Who asked you to bully Bella?" Leo pushed me aside and rushed over. Held his child in his arms. I was so angry that I was shaking all over. "Carefully put your passport into your bag." I asked her to believe. You should see what she did. "Who told you to touch my things?" "Go away." Leo stood up, still holding Bella, staring at me coldly. He said, "You haven't married Iris yet. You don't have the right to make decisions here." He carried Bella to the door, then stopped and turned around. "Even if you marry her, you still can't beat me." The door slammed behind him. Leo's hostility always shows when Iris is not around. Chapter 7. Every time I faced him, I would back off. He followed Iris, gradually becoming independent. They are the perfect team. In comparison, I'm just a house husband. I don't seem that important anymore. But when I have the chance to live this life again, I suddenly felt calm. He may be great, but I have my own light to shine. Why did Leo and I do this? At both ends of the scale, because of the Iris. She's not worth it. Is there nothing else in my life besides Iris? I can go to the mountains to teach. Bring new knowledge to the children there. I can contribute to education. Small but meaningful. I can go out and broaden my horizons and gain experience. The mud here will only hinder my steps. As for Leo, when I first came back, I thought about revenge on him. In my past life, he ruined my marriage. I thought of making a scene at his workplace, or expose him online. But what would that achieve? As long as Iris is willing, she has 100 ways to continue taking care of Leo. Besides, if Iris hadn't been transferred, even though Leo was standing naked in front of her, she didn't want to see him. Why bother? This is just a failed love. I don't want to waste any more of my life dealing with this. So I told Leo to listen carefully. No matter what your relationship with Iris is, whether you admit it or not, it's none of my business. I won't marry her. If you understand, you should pay more attention to Iris. Don't irritate me. Otherwise, I may change my mind at any time. Leo froze, waving his hands in denial. But then it seemed like fear really angered me. Finally, he hesitated and returned to his room. I've packed my things. One last look at the apartment. Look around. I can see traces of other people who lived here. Nothing to miss. I turned and walked out. Back to hotel. I quickly packed my things and started sending messages to Iris. Even though she treated me badly in many ways, until this life, there's no big grudge between us. In past life, we both wasted each other's time. Eventually fell into chaos. If possible, I want to make things clear in my life. In messages, I didn't mention where I was going. Just tell her I've made up my mind. Go to the mountains to teach. As for our engagement, she doesn't want to marry me. I don't want to marry her either. We will cancel it. From now on, we go our separate ways. Before I sent the message, someone knocked on the door. I opened the door and found Iris standing outside. She seemed out of breath. It seems like she has been running for a long time. I asked, "What are you doing here?" She took a few breaths before speaking. "Finally found you. I'm glad you're okay." "I'm glad you're okay." I kept silent, thinking she would blame me again. Okay, stop being angry. Come back with me, Iris said, pushed past me, and started packing my things. I turned off the screen and hid it behind me. But her gaze shifted, landing on the large bags scattered on the floor. Iris's face changed drastically. She asked, "Where are you going?" I was stunned for a moment, angry at myself because I didn't pack my things properly. I quickly made up an excuse. Bella went through my things this afternoon. I'm worried she'll mess it up. So I took it out. Iris was relieved to see my calm demeanor. She said, I had scolded her. Don't argue with your children. I followed her wishes and stopped her from packing. Iris frowned and asked, What's wrong? Aren't you happy yet? Bella was wrong. But she's just a kid. Don't make a fuss. I don't understand. Bella has been doing very well. Why do you two always have conflicts every time you come back? Iris seems to want to say something, but when she saw me looking at her coldly, she suddenly stopped talking. I asked her, Does Leo know you came to see me? Iris looked embarrassed and annoyed. What does this have to do with him? Why do you always mention Leo? I didn't answer and continued. I guess he doesn't know. Otherwise, you wouldn't be standing here. I am your fiancé. If we have an argument, it's natural for you to come to me. But why deep down, you don't want to tell him? Why do you always subconsciously avoid talking about me when you are with him? Every time we quarrel, you said it was because you were taking care of her. For your sister. How many sisters do you have? So why is there no one as important as you? Iris, I gently called her name. If you don't love me, let me go. Iris's face turned pale. Her body seemed to sway slightly. After a long silence, she spoke with difficulty. Because you won't go back, then stay here and reflect. I'll pick you up in a few days. Iris turned and ran away in embarrassment. I never thought of wronging you. I'm going back to prepare for the wedding. Listening to the hurried footsteps fading away, I closed the door expressionlessly. How ridiculous. As if in her eyes, she is willing to prepare for the wedding. Marrying me is a great favor. I should be forever grateful. Chapter 8. After Iris left, I bought a train ticket on my phone. Then I went out to have dinner with some colleagues. I used to. We are about to go our separate ways. I don't know when I can come back, or what year it will be then. During mealtime, my closest classmate hesitated. It's like he wants to say something but isn't sure. He knows something about me and Iris. He said, Dominic, didn't you say you were getting married? Why did you choose to teach in the mountains? Long haul. For many couples, relationships are a challenge. I smiled and shook my head. We are no longer married. Then I raised my glass and said, The world is so big. I want to see more. Cheers to youthful friendship and myself. After returning home, I took an early shower and went to bed. I thought it was going to be a sleepless night, tossing and turning. But surprisingly, I slept soundly all night. Woke up at dawn. After waking up, I went straight to the train station. Before boarding the train, I sent a message. I have been editing for a long time. I sent. My phone started vibrating uncontrollably. I turned it off immediately. When the train starts moving, I feel relaxed. A brief moment. I feel like I see myself from my past life. Say, thank you. When the train arrives at the station, I finally set foot on that vast and desolate land. I suddenly want to cry. A step I failed to take in my previous life, it seems easy this time. As long as I want. I calmed down and went to school to report. In my previous life, I didn't realize my dream. I will cherish this opportunity this time. In addition to eating and sleeping, I spent every moment, whether in class or preparing lesson plans. In this busy time, I received 3 calls from Iris. The first call was born a month after school started. Iris finally got my phone number after some effort. When an unknown number appears on the screen, I guessed it was her. Her voice on the other end of the phone was full of emotion. She said, she disagrees with canceling the engagement. She told me that in her heart, I will always be her husband. I hung up the phone half a minute later. The second call came 2 months later. In the heavy snow, Iris's tired voice came. She said she had arranged a house and a job for Leo, and made it clear to him they will never meet again. That day, I just listened quietly. Iris's last call came on Christmas Day, in the snowstorm. My first time speaking. I said, Iris, the semester exams were just graded. The children in my class behave very well. At the beginning of the semester, I had trouble adapting to the local dialect. It also imparts knowledge. Conduct home visits to each child. Things are not going well. I feel like I'm hitting a dead end. I don't know when I can win my parents' trust. Iris listened carefully. The person on the other end of the phone was breathing softly. And I said, "But you know, Iris, I'm happy here. I won't trap myself anymore." Suddenly, Iris's voice choked up. Her tired voice came. "But I miss you so much." You see, the subject of her sentence is still I. She never cared about the outlet of my soul, even in this moment of reconciliation. After this call, I cried at the foot of the mountain. No matter how hard my past life was, I never shed tears. I've been hysterical, angry, and regretful, but I've never cried. I almost forgot what it felt like to cry. After wiping away tears, I am more devoted to teaching. In my second year of teaching, the villagers began to trust me more and more. Wherever I go, they welcome me warmly. Although rural education still has a long way to go, I know if I continue down this path, many children will benefit. Every night when I look up from my desk, looking at the bright moon in the mountains, I feel an inexplicable force supporting me. It feels good to fight for your ideals. Later, I learned from my classmates, Iris is married. Her partner is Leo. When my classmate told me that, he was very careful. Perhaps considering my feelings, he explained, "I heard Iris is preparing for a business trip. Go to where you teach." When Leo found out, he went there to cause a riot. I don't know what happened, but the next day, they woke up and found themselves lying in the same bed. Iris refuses to consent, but she is pregnant. I didn't respond. She still entered into marriage in this life. For responsibility. Daughter's responsibility. Mother's responsibility. But it's not the wife's responsibility. At the end of the conversation, my classmate, "When you left to teach, I thought you were going to lose Iris. But now I realize that a person who lives his own life, that's the truly wonderful thing. Dominic, you have earned our admiration." 5 years later, I completed my teaching mission. I have trained a large number of excellent children. The road to achieving your ideal is long and difficult.